I'm Empowered for the Future. The project is proudly supported by SAP Slovenia and it aims to empower girls with programming skills and break the stereotype that programming is for boys only. And to begin with, I would like to ask you briefly to introduce yourself to us.
First, thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm very proud to collaborate with you and to be part of your project. So my name is Emilija Stojmenova Duh. I'm assistant professor at the Faculty of Electrical Engineering. I'm also director of Digital Innovation Hub Slovenia. I really want to help and encourage young people and especially young girls to involve in STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So programming for sure, but also not to be afraid to work with technology.
Okay, if we go into your background a little bit deeper, you moved from Macedonia to Maribor during your high school years. Can you tell us a little bit more what drove you to make this decision?
Courage.
Of course.
Yeah. So yes, I moved to Slovenia when I was 16 years old. I really wanted to show my parents that I can live on my own and I can survive on my own. I wanted to find a way, and there was a scholarship to study at Druga Gimnazija Maribor. So I applied for that scholarship. I didn't tell my parents about that. I was selected at the interview, and then I came here.
And when you were applying to study in Slovenia, did you already know that you were going to study electrical engineering?
No, I didn't know that I will study electrical engineering, but I knew that I won't study for sure law or I don't know, philosophy or social sciences. I was always more interested into natural sciences. Also in Macedonia, I was visiting natural sciences gymnasium, so I had physics, I had computer science, and when I came here, for me it was because I was visiting international baccalaureate program, and then I needed to select which subjects, and I had computer science. I really liked my physics teacher. What I really like about natural sciences is that it helps you to understand how nature works. So this is what I like the most. And then when it came time to decide for faculty, electrical engineering was a natural decision.
So it was a process to decide about electrical engineering, but for sure we can say that maybe a little bit influence because you had a great guide into your physics professor that helped a lot.
That helped a lot. Not only with this professor, but also in Macedonia. I had a very nice young teacher in physics. She just came back.
Oh, she was female.
She was a female. She returned from her studies, and then I was impressed that also young female can be such a good physics teacher. I didn't know that I want to study electrical engineering, and I must say that I was not encouraged by my parents. Actually, they were trying to explain me that for girls it is difficult to study engineering and maybe I should consider studying economics or things like that. But then I said, again, it was the inner thing that helped me that I should try.
Was it really harder to be a girl and study electrical engineering?
Not because of the studies. If you mean
because of the topics
and the content, definitely. Because for me it was quite easy because this is what really interested me. But it was more difficult because I was the only one and I didn't have any female company. So this is why it was harder, not because of the subjects.
Did you come across any negative stereotypes during your studies from your peers, from your professors?
Usually I don't want to talk about negative things, but I would like to mention some because maybe this can be a message to those that are doing this. They will stop doing that. Maybe they are doing this unconsciously. Not from the peers. I had wonderful students around me and they helped me a lot because when I came to Slovenia, everything was in English. International baccalaureate was in English and we talked in English. I didn't know Slovene at all. And when I went to the university, of course, the program was in Slovene, so my colleagues helped me a lot to understand. But there were some professors who, there were some of them who were saying if I was not present in class, okay, today we can talk normally because Emilia is not here. Or they were keeping asking me, Emilia, do you understand? Like, and then if I said yes, and then they were like, okay, we can move to the further topic. And I was like, okay.
You didn't check with everybody. Maybe somebody
Yeah,
else doesn't understand
but
the
it was
thing.
only, Emilia, do you understand? You know, like with kids, you ask them if.
Did you build any systems how to deal with negative criticism?
Yes, with success. Uh, Women and girls need to do at least 3 times more to show that they are worth it. They know they are here because they like the topic, because of their knowledge. So my way was to show them on the exams, when we had some seminars, some exercises, and then I always really tried to be the best. And then I was in third year, fourth year, and fifth year. I was the best student, and then I also I had this very high average grade, and then afterwards it was not a problem. But you know, this happens all the time. When I started some organization, also at work, first it's like okay, just another female, but then you show them with work that.
Yeah, I think even other examples of successful girl engineers in Slovenia just last year. The engineer Kalita,
Dora.
I know Dora well, and she was great at her studies also. She was brilliant at it. And I'm so glad that she's getting the recognition she deserves. But I just talked with her this weekend, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be so glad when it's gonna be over. I just want to do my work and not do all this PR." All right, can you tell us a little bit more how your career path went after you graduated?
So, because you know, electrical engineers are highly acquired in the market. When I was second year, I got several scholarship offers. So I decided for one in a company in Iskartel. It was an international company. And when I was finishing my studies, then I started working as a student there. And then I did my diploma also there. And again, when I had the diploma, I was offered this young researcher to do my PhD studies both at the university and in Iskratel. And then at that point of time, I want to practice, and I decided to do my PhD at Iskratel. So there I started from the development sector, then I moved to project management, to marketing. It was great because it was a large company and you were able to see how things function. So what the economists do in a company, what the technical sales does, what is the marketing needed. For me, it was a great experience.
Do you feel that study of electrical engineering gets you like introduces you to all the possibilities what you can do with electrical engineering? You can be in sales, you can be in research, you can be in development. Because I know my sister, when she finished her studies and started looking at different jobs, she wanted to be a researcher so bad. And then after 1 year in job, she was like, well, maybe not for me, and she switched quite few jobs before she's now product management, but she felt that she didn't get the introduction to the diversity of field in the course of her studies.
Yes, and I think that we should try to show the students that as an electrical engineer, you can really be everything.
Exactly.
What we are trying to do now, I'm a teacher, I'm a professor as well here, and I want to tell my students that not only students studying economic sciences can be managers or project managers,
Exactly.
but if you're working in that field, then even if you're an electrical engineer, you can be very good at that. And engineering is very good because they teach you how to think, analytical thinking. So in whatever field, you need first to do the analysis, then try to find a solution of the problem, and this is what we do, engineers, no matter where.
Exactly. Can you maybe walk us through how your average workday look like, if you do have an average workday?
Average work day, it's It's very busy. I wake up very early. This is the thing I don't like because I live in Maribor and I work in Ljubljana, so usually my day starts with hour and a half driving, which is very good now because I have hour and a half on my own to talk to myself, to go through what is next during the day, and a lot of times most of the solutions I find in the car. And then I have two teams now, one at the Faculty of Electrical Engineering, one at the Digital Innovation Hub. First in the morning we go through what is happening, what it should be next. I really like teamwork, so I want to be on track with all the colleagues. I trust them everything, but we all want to be we want to know what is happening. So a lot of meetings with the team, a lot of meetings because we have many European projects, many other projects. A lot of PR activities as well, because I always say we get a lot of public funding, and then we must tell the public what we are doing, how we are spending the public money. Now today is 1st of October, so students are back, then there's some teaching. It's very different, it's very dynamic, and I like that. There is a lot of traveling included, so at least once per month my days, like I go to the airport early in the morning and then late at night back, so very dynamic.
Maybe you talked about how your only off time is in your car. How do you deal with work-life balance?
I'm not there yet. No, actually, uh, I'm very happy that my husband, he doesn't see that this is a female job and this is a male's job. So, for example, I have a son as well, and it's usually my husband who takes him to the kindergarten and goes back after him. But then in the evening, I'm there as a mom, as a wife. During the day, I'm here with my colleagues. I try to use the weekends for my family. Many times where there is travel for work, I try to combine vacation and I take my family with me. So for now, it functions well.
All right, so now I would like to talk about a little bit more about your projects. One of them is Fab Lab. We as Epsilon Institute are also part of Fab Lab network. Can you tell us a little bit more about its purpose, goals, course of the project?
This is one of my favorite projects I have, and I always say if you want to help people, you should not give them money, but you should empower them by giving them knowledge. And the Fab Lab network was built with this objective in mind. Uh, with the Fab Lab network, we wanted to give place to everyone, no matter whether they are living in urban areas or in rural areas, where they can come. They have some mentors they can rely on, they have some equipment, and where they can use their skills or learn something new to put their ideas into practice, into working prototypes and projects. But most of all, really to empower them to learn something new. So with the Fab Lab network, there are many labs. They are not all functioning at the same level, but I'm sure that in the future they will.
That's great. And next to this, you are also the director of the Digital Center of Slovenia, DIH. Can you tell us a little bit more about DIH also?
So Digital Innovation Hub Slovenia, this is a national one-stop shop for digital transformation and digital competence development. We have four pillars. First, we are working for companies with a focus on smart and medium enterprises. Then it's the educational sector, public administration, and municipalities. Because we know that digital is here, so we can go with it or we can stay behind, and we don't want to do that. And when we were establishing the Digital Innovation Hub, even though the main focus in Europe it was on SMEs, but we really wanted to cover the whole society, and that's why we added the three additional pillars.
All right, so girls in electrical engineering, girls in programming, you touched upon these topics more closely as participant in the Hidden No More project. Can you tell us a little bit more about the project launch, its progress, its results? Just a little bit more about it.
There were 2 points in my life changed my mindset completely. The first one was International Baccalaureate in high school, and then it was this project, Hidden No More. Being a female in electrical engineering world, it's not always comfortable, and sometimes, most of the times, you're strange because you're the odd one out, and a lot of times then you ask yourself, am I normal? And with Hidden No More, this is a project that was funded by the State Department of the United States of America. And they invite 50 female from all the world. And then when you come into a room with people that are exactly like you, and then you start feel normal. You say, okay, so there are people like me, so it's nothing wrong with me. And for me, this was a huge relief. And within the Hidden No More, I met a lot of close friends. We're every day in contact, we support each other, and I think when the project stopped, we were there for 3 weeks, but really the project started when we came back home, because I have these girls every day. When there is something happening, I don't know, when I have a problem at work, and I usually write, we have a WhatsApp group, I write them, and then you have comfort from 49 people all around the world. We are here with you. And even if you succeed something, then they're always cheering for you. And this is very nice.
So one of the ways how to enable girls is just to build a community that will support them.
Definitely, to give them role models, to show them, because, we're different. And if they see, okay, she looks like me, uh, I'm a I'm coming from Macedonia, so I don't speak Slovene very well, and I have my own mistakes and my own flaws. And when people see that someone who travels all around the world, who is in newspapers, who has interviews and still has flaws, and then they can see, okay, I can do it on my own as well. So role models, and of course a community that will support you, that you know that they're there for you.
That's great. And in my research, I have found that that you highlight three challenges that women face in STEM. One of them we already touched a little bit: work-life balance, and other two are a glass ceiling and imposter syndrome. Can we talk about that a little bit more? A glass ceiling that prevents highly educated, capable, ambitious women from achieving the highest professional success at the international level, even though they are as skilled as their male counterparts. Do you feel there been any development in breaking the glass ceiling?
Uh, I think this is a thing where we don't talk a lot about. Because, in academia, also in, I don't know, with the many companies, management boards, there are women engineers, there are student engineers, there are even assistant professors that are engineers, or not even engineers, but also in other faculties. But there are not so many full professors. There are even less deans, rectors, or I don't know, presidents of management boards and things like that. So there is some level where you can easily go, but then it stops, because you also need the support from the other community, and usually, I don't know if they become afraid if you're there, and then there is a barrier where you cannot go. And in Slovenia we talk about a lot gender equality, that we are one of the best in the world, but that is not true. If we People usually uh, talk about that, but don't have the numbers in mind. If you have the numbers in mind, then you will easily see, if you see how many lead CTOs or I don't know, lead researchers are at highest positions. It's a very, very low number.
Alright, so the other part is the imposter syndrome, so a psychological pattern in which an individual questions his or her achievement and persistent internal fear of being exposed as fraud. You talked about this a little bit already, that you found a community when you didn't feel as an imposter. Do you feel as an imposter every day while doing your job, or did that maybe was something that you felt more when you were starting your studies?
I'm feeling it every day, but I know that this exists because until last year, when I was part of this hidden know program, I didn't even know about that term and about that condition. And at the first day when we were asked to represent ourselves, to introduce ourselves, and when I was listening to all these women talking about them, they were very successful, and I was like, what am I doing here? Please take me home. I should not be here. I do not belong here. And then when we started talking with each other, almost each one of them felt like that. And then in 3 weeks, they were constantly telling us, you're here because there is a reason behind. You're very good. That's why you are selected to be here. And now you are aware of that. It still exists, because usually when I achieve something, it's like, oh, I was lucky because I don't know, it was this condition, or it was this person that really, it was at the right place at the right time. I usually say I was lucky, not it was because of my work, because of my effort, but now I try to be aware of that.
Alright, so our project called Empowered for the Future focused primarily on programming competences. Why are these competences crucial for success in job market today, in your opinion?
So programming competences, I would like to go one step earlier, and that is about logical thinking.
Mhm.
So, because programming, actually, you learn the language, but what you need to know is how to think logically. And I think this is not only in the ICT jobs, but everyone needs these competences. This is the analytical way of thinking, finding solutions and things like that. And the mistake what we do here in Slovenia, it's not that only in high school. I think we should start with these competences much, much, much earlier, even in the kindergarten. It's much easier if you have these competencies to go to daily uh, to your daily life, not only in work, but even if you have a problem in your real life, if you have these competences, it will be much easier for you to solve them.
Okay, the older generations are a bit afraid of digitalization, but the younger ones internalize it, if not at least for the purpose of entertainment and leisure. How to break the fear of digitalization among the elderly?
I think the main problem is not understanding about what digitalization is. Because many times people first digitalization understand as automatization and robotization. This is one misconception. The other thing is, if today we open the news and we search for digitalization, most of the topics will have negative tone and not so much positive. And so people are afraid. They think about stealing their identity, they think about someone is going to follow them, or they will know what they do. So what I think is crucial is about to raise awareness what digitalization is, then this digital hygiene, how they can protect their data, what they can do with it. It's really to teach them what digitalization is and how they can protect themselves.
And on the other part, how to convince young people that computers are for a little bit more than Facebook, Instagram, and just gathering likes.
I think here the educational system can do a major role, and of course organizations like you and like we and the whole community, and well, of course the Fab Lab network as well. Within one project, we visited Finland, and each child in first grade, they get this small chip where they start learning how to program, how to code. And the teacher said that what they're trying to teach them is how to use technology to create something, not to use technology to consume. This is what we need to teach the kids and everyone else. So to create something new, not to only consume content which we don't even know whether it's good or not.
That's a great answer. All right. In my research, I also noticed that you are trying to predict the competences that will be needed in the tomorrow's jobs, future jobs. That is one of the questions we keep on asking ourselves at the Epsilon Institute also. So, what are the prospects?
Usually what people ask me is what the future jobs will be, and then I always say this is not possible to predict, and I don't want to talk about that because it can have some consequences. But the future competences, it's not on what technologies we need to know how to use, but it's about teamwork, it's about flexibility, it's about also project work, it's about emotional intelligence. For example, a lot of times I get a question, what the best engineers should be like, and I always say they need to have empathy. So again, it's not technical competence, but it's a very social competence, because if they have empathy, then they are able to listen, they are able to see what the problems of the people are, because what engineers do, they solve other people's problems with the products they develop.
So we are already talking about multidisciplinarity. There are your hard skills, your knowledge, your programming, your engineering knowledge, and you also have to have a set of soft skills next to that. Um, you are actually no longer acting as a traditional engineer, so just in the lab the whole day, but your activity is a combination of your engineering skills and your soft skills, so maybe you are already a job of the future. Needed to coordinate Fab Lab and to represent DIH as a director. So, is the future multidisciplinarity?
Definitely. I want to mention that in both my teams, I have a high set of different disciplines involved already, because we have cultural anthropologists, we have people coming from information sciences, from social sciences, and we see that in our project this is really necessary to have all these different views. Engineers, they see one thing, but then somebody that is studying people and their relationships see completely different thing, and this is the only way that works. So my team is as such, but then, as you mentioned, we are no longer working in a job from the beginning of our career till the end of our career, but it's more like project work, and these projects are very different, and in every project you need different skills. So what I think it will be very important is this lifelong learning. So once we finish with our studies, we are not there yet. We only learn how to learn, but then it's on us during our lives to learn new.
And do you have any advice how to approach this concept to young people? Because when you were in school, you were like, all right, I'm going to finish my high school and be done with it. I'm going to finish college and be done with it. And it's kind of scary to think that you will have to learn for the whole life until you start working, at least for me, because now I know that I'm learning every day. Today I'm gonna be montaging videos, and tomorrow I'm gonna be doing something else. But I think a lot of young people are very kind of frightened of the concept that they will have to learn. Do you have any advice how to break this barrier?
Actually, in Slovenia, we all have this problem because only 43% of the people are prepared for lifelong learning. And I think that we need to show them examples. For example, I'm teaching here at one subject, it's called career communication, and each week we bring a person from a company to explain them what their day looks like, so what they do at work, what it involves, the job they're doing. And I really think we need to show them real examples of that. For example, one of my projects is smart villages. And when I tell people that I do that, and they're like, but you're an electrical engineer. Yes, but we do that as well. So, and only through this, they don't really have a clear picture of what the person is doing somewhere.
All right, thank you for so much for your time and support. I think together we can make a step toward becoming empowered for the future.
Thank you so much.